I'd like to hear from our good dean, former dean, but he's not yet recycled, who has been actually a constituent member of the CTNS board, and no matter how bad it gets, he always is cheerful, even-handed, cool-minded, and edifying. So, Dr. Gooddean.
Thank you. Yeah, my story of getting on the CTNS board is a little bit like Ted's. Bob is very persuasive. I think it was my first year in the GTU Dean's office that he came to me and said, would you consider joining the CTNS board? And I said, well, why? And I don't know anything about science, and I know very little about theology. What story? And Bob said, well, we're really thinking about the future of the relationship between CTNS and the GTU. Who knows, maybe even someday we might just merge and become part of the GTU. It could happen. But as we're thinking about this, it would be really good to have the GTU be involved in that. So I'm so glad that I said yes to that, and I therefore have the dubious distinction of having known less about science than anyone who's ever come to a CTNS. But I've learned a lot from my participation with this. I just want to share a few of those things with you that I have learned through my association with CTNS. I've learned a lot about lasers. Specifically, I've learned about laser focus. People who know what the mission is and are locked into that, as Bob and Charlotte and all of you involved with CTNS have been over the years. That's what it takes to build an institution like this, just laser focused. I've also learned a lot about energy, and especially the conservation of energy. They say that energy is never destroyed, it's only transformed. Is that See?
First law of thermodynamics. You're doing well.
But that's too long. That's too long. So, and I've seen how that works with CTNS, that no matter what happened when things got bleak, when there were challenges that you thought, how are we ever going to be able to overcome this? The energy was always there. It just got redirected in, well, we'll ask another foundation, or we'll ask that foundation, we all know who it is, again. Or we'll just keep going and find a way to make it happen. And the energy that this great group of people has brought together is what has made this possible. And of course, the last thing that I've learned about is stars. I've learned about all the different kinds of stars. You know about Bob and Ted, the supernovas. But the staff, I'm looking at Bonnie and Melissa, and I look at Brayden. He was here a minute. There he is, behind the camera. Say all. And the board members, everyone who's been involved with CTNS, it's a whole constellation of stars, and people who are so warm and personable and belie the kind of what you were talking about, the intimidation of science people. No, these are folks who have really made everyone who's been involved with the organization feel a part of it and be a part of it. So I'm just so glad that the mutual gravitational force of these two great institutions has brought them together, and look forward to spinning off into orbit for many, many years to come.
Thank you, Dr.